make sure we're actually live on YouTube because, it does that sometimes. There we go. So hi, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. We are actually live on YouTube. Yes, there's lots of people here. So Bree said hi first.
Hi.
And it's okay that you didn't read
Bree.
the book. We're just happy you're here. I had a little chat.
Yeah.
Popcorn butter. There you go.
Nice.
That's the mood. So, yes. So this week has been Love in the Night. It's a paranormal romance readathon that I kind of was the brainchild for, but everybody else has contributed so much. I don't feel like it's just mine anymore. I feel like everybody has given and participated so much, and we're so excited. Just putting it out there, we are looking for a POC to join us in future rounds. So if you know someone who is a creator who's a POC that would like to join us or reads a lot of paranormal, please let us know, because we want them to come join us and help us make sure that we are doing our due diligence when we pick prompts and pick group books and things. And yes, all the things. So anyways, quickly, everybody run around, say hi, and say your favorite paranormal.
That's put me on the spot.
Cool.
Thanks, Shay. I'm Steph from the Naughty Corner. I'm going to have to, God, it's either Side Changeling or Stay a Spell series. Depends if I want serious.
I meant actual creature, not series.
Oh,
series
oh,
is
sorry.
too hard to pick.
I was going to say, I thought you meant the book for the week. I was a bit confused.
I know. I'm like, hang on, you asked me to pick a book? No. I've answered this. Psychics of some kind.
I'm Laura from Laura's Library Card, and I would say my favorite paranormal, I have a soft spot for shifters. I know it's basic. I love reading the monster smut. That's super exciting, but also just give me a good alpha primal. I think that's my sweet spot.
There you go.
All right. Are we introducing our names? I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I don't even know what anybody said. I know what paranormals you said, but not the introduction. I don't know.
Yes, say who you are, your channel, and your favorite paranormal being / creature.
I'm Heather from Hia Booktubes. I read paranormal a lot, to be honest. I don't know what my favorite would be. I guess probably a shifter. Those do tend to be my go-tos for the same reasons that Laura said. I like the more aggressive and the more primal, and I'm into the whole alpha thing. I like all of it. So I'm into fade mates. I'm into the sniffing, the biting, all of it. Yeah, that works for me.
I would say mine is that fated mate / either a shifter or a vampire. I'm good with either because of that fated mate thing. That's what makes it work for me. They can be alphas all they want. I'm fine with that as long as they are gone for their other person. I'm good. So anyways, real quick before we dive into the discussion on Captive Merman's Promise, because I want to give a few more people time to get here. Let's talk about what was your favorite read from this week for Love in the Night. And if you've read any paranormal this week, tell us in the comments. We want y'all to participate too.
Get my list out.
I read so many good ones. I don't even know if I can actually pick now that I've said that.
Well, because I also had a lot of reread. I put a lot of rereads in here, so they're already favorites, and I feel like that's. I'm going to pick something that's not a reread because that's something new. I think I'll go with Curiosity by Christina C. Jones. I really enjoyed that short. It was really fun.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah. Nice. So, vampires, short, steamy. It was great.
Yeah.
Yes, I will take all of those things, please.
Heather, you want to go next?
Not the correct order.
Heather's a stickler for order. That's why I was
laughing. Fine. Then I'll go. It's fine. I finished 4 titles this week, which is pretty good for me. That's like a good accomplishment. And I'd say of the 4 that I read, I think my favorite was probably Always Practice Safe Hex in the Stay a Spell series. I will say that the one that I finished today, Demons Do It Better by Louisa Masters, was very interesting. I really, really enjoyed that like premise and world. I just think that Juliet Cross kind of edged it out a little bit.
Yeah. I love both those books so much.
Yeah.
My only 5-star was Spell of Desire, which is a witchy manga, which you all will see this in my vlog. But I accidentally, I didn't even on purpose do this, but my first ever manga was the first volume of Spell of Desire for the first round of Love in the Night. It was my first ever one, and I finished the series as my first book for this round. I was like, look at me doing all the things. But yeah, that was my 5-star. It's a 5-volume series. I think it's really good for beginners. The art's really beautiful, but I also just really liked the relationship in the story. It's
Tomu Omi has a great way of building that relationship. Like it forces some physical intimacy quickly, but like it still has that slow burn almost kind of feel to it. So I dig so much. Yeah. For me, I read like everything was 4 or 5 stars this week, y'all. Like I had a great reading week.
Good.
So I really liked the new Christine Feehan that came out Tuesday. I got that as an ARC.
Nice.
I really liked our group book, which we'll get into in a minute. Always Practice Safe Hex was also on my list. Raven Song was on my freaking list.
Nice.
And then the 4-star was Ice Planet Barbarians book. Like I've had a great reading week. Oh, if I have to choose, it's probably probably Raven Song, if I'm honest with myself, because literally I wanted to not only smack Gordo and Mark both, but I also just wanted to hug them and tell them it's going to be okay. That is the level of like, I cried. I don't know how many times reading this book. I'm like, are you kidding me? So
emotional investment.
That's the thing with those books.
They so much crying.
They tug at you. It's like it's second chance done
literally, in this one, it talks about like certain things feeling torn and tattered and like shredded. That's how you feel reading it as they talk about it. You're like, yes, I feel this deeply. Oh gosh. So good though. And I did hit all my prompts.
Same.
Yeah. Nice.
So let's talk about Captive Merman's Promise. I'm going to just give kind of a brief, yes, you have the beautiful copy.
Gorgeous.
Hold up.
Wow.
I'm just going to give like a brief summary of what's going on in the book, and then we'll talk about what we liked, what we didn't, what worked for us, all that kind of stuff. So essentially, this female Bruja is extremely powerful. Her family's been cursed to be ripped apart from the person they love. Like, that's just what happens to them. But she is powerful enough to pull this curse entirely into her body and only manifest it for herself so the rest of her family and friends can find their love and thrive on it and have these happily ever afters. So she shows up at the shadow market to talk to the most powerful warlock in the world, essentially, to try to cure this curse. And she ends up walking into this tank area, and there's a merman, and they have an instant connection, and things go from there. So give me your initial, like, I would say Steam level rating as well as like story rating. So we'll do like a spice factor. You can do it however you like on spice, and then like a star for story.
I think like star rating for me, this was sort of 4-ish or equivalent to 4-ish. And it would probably like a 3.5 Steam rating for me, like comparative to some of the other things that I read this week. I I don't usually rate like that though, so that's weird. So I'm gonna think about it.
Sorry, that's an old habit I have from the Thirsty Thursday like manga thing. We always did a spice level and then a story. So I don't know. It's an old habit that it's hard to get rid of because that's how my brain does it now.
Fair enough. And I should say this was one of the rereads for me. I read it about a month ago when it first came out as well. And I think I enjoyed reading it more on reread because I was focused purely on this story, not on the series as a whole, because I read the whole series the first time.
So you were tying in all the overarching stuff rather than the individual stories. I got you.
Yeah.
For me, I would put the Heat. Yeah, I would say 3.5 is a good, solid rating for that. For me, now I struggle with novellas. I feel like I always just want more out of my novellas. So initially I was like 2.5, like just like standard middle of the road, whatever. But I do think that was a little harsh in, reminding myself as a novella, as its own complete thing. I do think I'm going to bump that up to 3.5 for this story. But I did want more out of it.
I give it 4 stars. I didn't want to read it. Just to be completely honest. I didn't want to read it because I don't care about mirror people at all. And I don't care about Little Mermaid retellings or any of the things. And I wasn't going to read like any of the books from the Kickstarter. Like I didn't care, right? So I read it because I'm a host and because it was the group book. For this live show, and I actually did really enjoy it. I was very pleasantly surprised by how much I did enjoy it. So it was a 4-star for me. I think that it was a good execution of what she was trying to do. Steam, I would say like a 2. I don't know. Are we rating based on like 0? Or are we rating it based on like average reads? I don't know. There was
however you feel most comfortable. You can give it whatever you'd like.
There was some steam. He had a fancy peen. Like I don't know. There wasn't anything. It wasn't a lot. It was 2. So I liked it.
Okay, so apparently I liked it best out of everybody because like I just gave it 5 stars. I got everything I needed out of this novella. I went in knowing it was a novella, that there was going to be a merman and a bruja, and that's where we were going. And I knew that it wouldn't be too crazy, but there were a few surprises in there for me that I didn't quite see coming, but like I also didn't look for it because I think if I'd looked harder, I would have seen it, but I didn't. I just went in purely for enjoyment and thoroughly enjoyed myself. So with that said, I'm still not going to say it was the steamiest book I've ever read by any means. I read much steamier things this week, and the amount of steam you had was a lot lower in those books, but it was much steamier to me. So I will give you that. So it's really steam-wise, it really is kind of in the middle. It's fine. It wasn't like bad where it like took me out of the moment, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is sexy. I'm really enjoying this. So middle of the road, a 3.
I think it's a solid book. It's a solid story.
It's a solid novella.
Yeah.
I love everybody's comments about the claspers and his fancy peen. So yes. So I guess character-wise, who stood out to you more, her, him? And we don't have to go in order. Just
it was her story.
Yeah.
I felt personally more compelled by Ronan. Like I wanted to know more about him and his story.
Yeah.
There was little hints about his, like warrior past and that kind of thing. And I was like, okay. But I like them both.
Yes.
Do it.
Free. I need this.
Yes.
I will buy it.
I needed to say how fancy is his peen. I just need that.
Little rating system.
A peen rating system.
I agree with Laura. I think that he was more compelling, and I think it was because she was just kind of a closed off individual, and that's kind of, her entire history at this point. And he was just a little bit more interesting. I did like both characters. I didn't have any issues with the characters, which is always nice. I don't like being annoyed by the people I'm reading about. But I did.
And I find in novellas that usually there's one or the other that I'm like annoyed by. It's like, okay, I'm okay that this is short because you bug me. But I loved both of these characters. I thought they both brought a lot to the story in their own ways. Yes, I would love like a full fleshed out story so that we get like his background and how he really ended up being there.
Like, I'd love a story about his people and everything that
give
happened.
me more like of that world and how he got there, and like, I would totally be down for that, or at least something a little bit longer that maybe had some true like flashbacks for him. Rather than just like alluding to everything.
No.
But Heather's like, no, it's fine. Don't add any more.
Novella is supposed to be a novella. I'm happy. As the person who was forced to read this but did enjoy it. Happy with the legs. I liked that. Honestly, so much of it is like the mental. Oh, I have to get through 300 pages before I've like even started the book. So.
Yeah,
especially for a group book,
make me read a 600-page freaking Christian Ashley book. Get me hooked on the dang series, and now I'm like 6 books in, so you can read a dang novella for me, okay?
Yes,
okay.
I can. But what I'm saying is the fact that I know it's only like 100 pages makes me like dreading it less before I read a single word. Right? It's nothing to do with the author or anything. It's I have to read this book. Oh. Okay, cool. It's only 100 pages. That's helpful.
Right.
So I like that.
So with that said, the next question I was going to ask is, would you read more Zoey Castille in future? I definitely would.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I was not compelled to feel the need to do that, but honestly, that's true of by and large the majority of authors that I read. I really have to really enjoy a book to be like, okay, I want more of this author, because the TBR is never ending.
Yeah.
I'm just not one of those people that's like, oh, let me give an author 3 chances. I'm like, no, you have no chances. Like, you need to compel me to read your books. So, well, I did perfectly enjoy it. It was not like, okay, I definitely want to check out more by this author. And that's what it has to be for me personally.
Yeah, I didn't immediately go and add all of her backlist to my TBR or anything, but I didn't have anything wrong with this book that I was like, ooh, no more of this author. So I would be interested in checking out other things. And I wonder how many other of their works are like on Kindle Unlimited or that kind of thing. So I could see myself looking through some of the blurbs and saying, oh, this one has the tropes that I like. I want to go read that one. And, so I didn't in any way rule her out or them out. I don't know. And, I would potentially be interested in reading more.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I'm not immediately jumping out to go pick up more books. Well, because this is this is a pen name as well, so I'm curious.
Where, like, I saw a concept that, like, I saw a pitch that I really liked, and she had written it. It wouldn't necessarily deter me from reading it.
Yeah.
Steph, can you tell us her other pen name if people do want to try her out? Do you remember what it was?
Okay. Yeah.
It is Zoraida Cordova. Okay. Because that's her YA pen name.
Yeah.
She does a lot of YA.
Yeah, I don't know which one is the pen name, but one of them is.
Yeah.
Right. Or all.
Yeah. So.
It's very possible.
Okay.
I don't want to take the conversation away from this book, but for the other books in the series, do they take place just in the same world, or they have to do with the shadow market, or how are they?
They're all in the shadow market, right?
Yeah, so they take place over 3 days. So the first one is the opening of the shadow market. That's hang on, let me grab them. So first one is Jenny Norback. So that's the opening of the book. Katie Roberts' one takes place in this world and also in her Deal with the Demon world as well. Also, one of the characters from there is in this one. The third one is kind of like a Slayer Hellmouth one, so something's coming through a Hellmouth gate. The fourth one is more contemporary than the others. It's like a haunted house experience, and there are spooky elements in it, but to me it didn't feel quite paranormal in it, but it was really interesting. Like, it was spooky romantic suspense with some horror elements thrown into it. And then the last one is The End of the Shadow Market, and it's about the Fae Queen, who basically is the person who kind of, I don't want to say rules the shadow market, but is kind of the big presence in the shadow market overall.
Interesting.
So yeah, so there's a little bit of everything in there for and everyone.
Right. So like I'm kind of like Heather. I didn't necessarily like, I knew I'd probably read the Katie Robert one because I do like her deal with the demon series. But outside of that, like, I didn't think I was really gonna like try to read any of the other ones. So when this one was suggested, I'm like, oh, okay, fine, sure, whatever. And I
helpful too for like a group book when somebody has already read it, and you can be like, okay, the quality is there. It's worth actually having.
Right.
Yeah.
So I appreciate.
We were tossing around like Stay a Spell series. We tossed around a few different things.
Right.
And I think a bunch of us read Always Practice Safe Hex this week. I know Laura and I did. Was it you too, Steph, or was it Izzy?
Yeah, I reread it. No.
I think it was on
I think
Izzy's
Izzy
list
was
too.
Izzy was trying to read it, and I reread it.
And was that on your
love
list,
that book
Heather?
so
I can't remember.
I DNF'd the first book so hard. So no.
Did you physically read the first book, or did you listen to the audio?
Yeah. And it was the werewolf got on my last nerve within like 30 seconds. And I was like, I cannot do this. I don't care.
I love Alpha.
Honestly,
which is interesting because
now that I've read 4 of them, Wolf Gone Wild is my least favorite so far.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. By a long shot. I do think Always Practice Safe Hex is my favorite right now.
Oh yeah.
But
the fifth one,
my most anticipated one is the one coming out on Halloween, which is Resting Witch Face. I've been waiting for that book since book 1. Just give it to me already, dang it.
That's Jules and Ruben, yeah?
Yeah.
It'll be a good one.
Oh, they've been hinted at for so long.
Well, and we got so many more hints in Always Practice Safe Hex, but also the hints for the 6th book with Clara.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for theirs.
And Henry.
Yeah.
I know. Because they're both like their own little cinnamon rolls, and I love them for different reasons. But anyways, I just need to like stop fangirling.
Yeah.
Yeah, the special editions are beautiful.
You can join in anytime.
They're really pretty.
I liked that this was Merman or Mer people, because I don't think I've read books with mer people in them, but not as a like adult romance, So this was new for me, and I liked it. And I mean, I went into it not realizing 100% how much of the Little Mermaid was going to be in it. And it's like chapter like 2. I'm like, I'm seeing it. I like it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to mer stories, Little Mermaid is definitely not my favorite. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't feel that so much. I saw the hints, obviously, but like, it wasn't so.
Yeah, it wasn't a play-by-play.
Blatant that's all I could think about. Like I still treated it as its own story, which I think worked better for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I liked that he was the merman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, for Laura, this was not the first merman romance I had ever read. The first one I read was I Married a Merman.
Okay.
By Regine Abel.
Okay.
Which I really liked. This is very, very different, but I like it for different reasons. And I've come across a few others as well. I would have to like make a whole list. Maybe I'll do a rec video one of these days for them. But
can recommend Queenie and the Krakens if you want.
That one's on my list. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
That is just a bundle of fun because everyone is a merman. they're all mermaids, but they're all
But
shifters.
see, I haven't done any tentacles ever yet. So like I'm nervous about tentacles. Like, that's the one thing in Monster I haven't gone anywhere near yet.
Yeah, I just finished I Married a Birdman. I didn't even realize the next one was I Married a Merman.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna read 2 mermaid books in like a week. Cool. It's cool. It's cool.
I love Did you like Birdman?
I love this for you.
Yeah, I'm liking the series quite a lot so far.
That's good.
It was kind of cracking me up for the I Married a Naga, where he's like the snake person. That like how many of the reviews were like, snake? Oh no, snake dude, no. And like I play a snake person in like D&D, and I'm like, what has D&D done to me? Like I was like, this is hot. Like every person who's like
I'm like so schemed out by snakes in real life. I wasn't sure how I was gonna do with I Married a Naga, but it's still like so good. I loved it.
Well, I thought to myself, how is it really that different from Married a Lizard Man? Like, other than there's legs versus no legs, like they both have scales, they both have pocket penises, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just kind of like, how is this
really that different? The pocket peen is something that Regine Abel does enjoy.
Yeah.
So
the extrude.
The merman mechanics for that I actually quite like. So I'm excited to see what you think.
Yeah.
We should be getting another one for that series soon too. Hold on.
I Married a Dragon came out this year.
She comes out with multiple a year though.
Yeah.
Because
4 or 5
I Married a Minotaur came out earlier.
They have a tendency to just turn up in my Instagram feed as, oh look, it's out now, and I'm like, oh. I had no idea that was coming.
Yeah.
What did you guys think about in our group book, the whole like pearl element? I thought that was like cool when it was the tears, a little less cool when it was not the tears. And I was like,
no.
like the idea
there goes the
truth. Yeah, exactly. You start choking.
Yeah, that was kind of the only thing that I wasn't down with. Like, it just did not quite work for me. Like, that was the only thing that I'm just like, I'm just gonna like forget that happened and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
the tears were fine. Don't care.
No.
Yeah.
Darker and
tone. Oh, okay. I do like a dark mermaid.
Yes, you are behind Brie. Like,
yeah.
Come on now. Just kidding.
I Married a Birdman.
But she's the one who got us all reading it in Regine Abel anyway.
Yes.
And then I'm the person that like sees it in my Instagram feed. And I'm like, crap, dropping everything to read the next one.
I think you're usually how I find out about the new ones now, Shay. It's like,
probably.
Oh, one. Yeah, hopefully.
I think she started. I think there's one for Lizard Man and maybe Naga. Hang on.
Shay is investigating.
I would have liked, I think, for the Captive Merman's Promise, I would have liked a little bit more of the witch bruja magic element. We didn't really get to see. There's only a little bit where Amada was using her powers, which seemed elemental, like she made heat and like air and stuff, and I was like, this is cool, like have more of this. And I thought that would kind of come into play a little bit more, because I said, okay, if she's elemental, like he's a merman, like we can have some water magic. And then I wasn't disappointed that wasn't there, but I thought that I predicted early on, I was like, that's gonna be important, and then I was wrong.
But yeah, I would agree. Like, we definitely didn't explore her powers very much at all, other than she was powerful enough to pull that curse into her.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the way that the curse manifested in her. Was it the tattoo that changed?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was pretty cool.
Great.
All right.
Did y'all see it coming that he was the one that cast the curse?
No.
The shadow marker guy.
I'm like thinking about it now as the Little Mermaid retelling, I'm not surprised. But just going in and reading it, I didn't see it coming. Especially like how obsessed he was with her ancestor. Like I did not see that.
When
until
he was
it's like his POV, and then I'm like, F, really?
When he was so determined to get her to sign, I felt like that was like my first red flag. I thought, why is he so wanting her? Yeah.
Well, we knew she was powerful at that point because she'd pulled the curse into her body. So that's why I thought he did. Like, I didn't think anything other than he knew how powerful she really was.
I think that was just the first inkling to me. Like, I thought, okay, yeah, maybe she's just gonna be a cool like exhibit. But I thought, is he really pushing this a little hard? He's willing to, turn Ronan human for this? Suspicious.
Yeah. I suppose when we got him as a point of view character for different chapters as well, that was another flag. It's like, okay, well, what's
well, like the second we got his POV, I was like, oh no.
No. I liked his POV.
Yeah.
It was a little like twirling my mustache level of villain, but also
for sure.
It was nice to be like, oh, it's a bad guy.
Sometimes it's just nice to have one of those villains.
That mustache twirly villain.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works for me in a book. Like in the aforementioned Kristen Ashley series, all of the villains are pretty mustache twirly in that series as well. But like sometimes it works really well in a book. And I'm totally down. Like I don't need it to be this like morally gray. Are they actually bad? Are they good? I don't need that in my villain. They can be mustache twirly and very, stereotypically villainous, and I'm fine. As long as it's like not pulling me out of the book.
Right.
And it probably worked really well.
If I'm pulled out of a book, like it automatically lowers it a star or two for me, depending on what pulled me out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it probably works really well in the novella because I think if you had a whole book of him being mustache twirly villain in this sense, it probably wouldn't have worked as well.
And like I'm good to get a villain POV every so often. Like one of my favorite romantic suspenses, there's a serial killer stalking the heroine, and you actually have his POV like from the beginning of the book.
Is he the hero?
Actually, no.
Oh, okay.
No, not a serial killer romance. He's just a serial killer stalking the heroine. And so it's the romantic suspense where obviously like she's going to get kidnapped by him at some point. Yeah. But like being in his head like made the book more mysterious and made it more realistic because you could see how he got so crazy and how he thought what he was doing was completely fine. Yeah. Like that's why it worked for me.
Sounds good.
Which book was that, Shay?
It's called Deadly Obsession by April Hunt, I believe is the title. Let me double check that title.
I usually don't like the villain POV because it stresses me out because I can like see their machinations. I see where they're doing like plans that I know the main character isn't
aware.
I can't think of the word. Yeah, they're not planning for it, they're not prepared for it. And so I'm just like, look out, like he's gonna get you. This is not good. And it like seriously stresses me out. So I typically don't like it. But like this one didn't bother me. But
so yeah, I did drop the link on YouTube. So anybody who wants to know about the book, that's what it is. It is Deadly Obsession.
I really liked that our merman never intended to try and get her to sign for his own freedom. I liked that.
Because he knew that the guy was garbage, and so he's like, no, I must protect.
Yeah. He had one moment
I even like,
but then he very quickly took that moral high ground and wanted what was best for her from the start.
And that made it easier to root for him, considering the situation.
And I like that he even just tried to get away so that he wouldn't even be put in the position where he tried to convince her, even to his own detriment.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that did help make the characters likable, was that the conflict wasn't because of either one of them. It wasn't them keeping secrets or any of or trying to push each other away or any of the things. They were really honest with each other.
Right.
So that made the outside forces just be the conflict. And I like that, especially for the length. I feel like it's hard to build up trust and also have a break of trust and also have forgiveness in a novella. So
external conflict instead of internal angsty drama.
External conflict always will work better for me. Like the internal angsty, like I can handle it to an extent, which is why I wanted to like strangle Mark and Gordo at points in Raven Song. But there were external conflicts that kept pulling them apart too. So like, anyways.
Did you feel this was more a fated mates situation, or did you feel this was more like an insta love or like a magical insta love kind of situation?
I do think it has an insta lust element to it, but I also think it's a lovers of convenience in a way, because they both had an opportunity to be together without any visible like conflicts that were unexpected for either of them. So they're like, okay, you know, let's live in this moment, let's enjoy our time together, and then whatever happens happens. Like that was their mentality going into it, and I think that's why it worked for me, because it wasn't this mystical moon magic fated mates thing. I mean, it ended up that way in the end, of course, but like it didn't start that way, and I liked that it didn't start that way. They were both realistic going into it when they started their physical relationship.
Yeah, I think it was just a very intense attraction and connection, more so than a mate connection. It wasn't like, oh, you're the one that I've been waiting for.
There wasn't a snapping into place with that fated mates trope at all.
It was just, wow, I find you so attractive, so intriguing, so like I like everything about you.
And that it's like that intuitive knowing that I like you and what's going on.
Right. Right.
Because that's how the majority of real life relationships start. It's like, hey, I like this about you. I like this about you. I like this about you. Let's spend more time together.
Right. Right. I think that a lot of times authors can kind of have a difficult time balancing the, okay, I'm not ready to marry you and say I love you the Thursday after I met you, but at the same time, I can be aware that I'm interested in you from the very beginning. Like that doesn't have to be an issue. It can just be the beginning of a relationship where you're attracted to each other.
Yeah.
And I like that that's how this came across. It wasn't this magically tied in a bow, happily ever after situation. It worked well for me that way.
I also really liked the ending, how she became a mermaid, and they could both actually switch over to human forms as well. Like, very convenient there, but I really liked that.
Because that way they're both not giving up everything that they love for the other person. Like she was able to go and spend time with her family when she needed to, and he didn't have to give up his mer life, and
also,
but he also enjoyed being human, so he didn't have to give up being human either.
Well, and they also found out that there were surviving mer people.
Yeah.
And that was a nice addition as well.
Yes.
Especially since he'd been locked in a tank for hundreds of years. It makes sense that over the centuries,
they were able to repopulate it and regrow and rebuild, and that works well.
Yeah. It had a nice sense of resolution. While still being open-ended enough to go. There could be more stories down the path with different characters, but their story is complete.
Right.
Exactly. Well, I kind of think we've talked everything about this novella.
Yeah.
Is there anything else about the readathon you want to discuss? Any of your other reads? Anything like that before we wrap things up?
This was a good one.
I just had a fantastic reading.
It was a good
I'm
one.
so glad y'all were here to be part of it. And I loved having Heather join us. I feel like she's added a lot to our group. It's great to have her. And things have been. I'm glad. Yeah. And I hope you will continue to join us and have fun in future.
Oh, I'm sure I will. Yeah.
It's always nice fun to just read paranormal romances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a whole week.
There's
dive in.
And Oh, we didn't address the elephant in the room. Izzy is not here because she's currently at like a wedding and a wedding celebration. It's not that she didn't want to be here. It's just that timing was bad. So she would have been here at the live show to share everything with us, but she will be having a vlog, so you can check that out. And if you're not following these lovely people, please do. They're all amazing. I love them all. They are dear friends of mine, and I appreciate every one of them. So, yes, this is a readathon we all love, and we'll figure out a spring. We tend to do one in the spring, summertime, and then we always do this fall one kind of near Halloween-ish. Usually earlier so that people kind of have all month to read whatever they want.
Yeah.
And yes, and if you ever have suggestions for like group reads or anything, just DM any of us. We would love to hear from you and know what you guys want to all read together as well. Like we always try to like make it a little bit different than the last time, bring something new into it. We made new graphics this time. Everything felt really fresh and really new. I just think this round really overall was a good experience for me. I hope it was for everybody else too. So
and kudos to Shay for coming up with great prompts that lots of books fit into.
Yeah.
I tried to keep them open-ended enough that they would work for a lot of things. And I think all of them changed except Eat Her Out, because I refuse to take that one out because that is in so many paranormals that it's like you can find at least one.
Right.
In
and
whatever
if it's not in there, is it even doing it properly?
Right. It's a really bad paranormal if there's not somebody going down on
what if it's
else.
What if it's LGBT? Well, yeah, somebody on somebody. Sure,
I think in future it will say eat them out.
Yeah.
Just so that it can be
that's a good idea.
So
yeah.
I mean, I personally would still count it for like
like if it was male and that was all you had, like it still counts. Period. End of story. I don't care.
Right.
I'm counting it. I mean, I threw a barbarians book in, I spun a barbarians book in there. I'm like, it's my readathon. I'm doing it anyway. He's got horns. It works.
Aliens do.
I had a superhero romance in there, so it's all good.
Right. Like we're so easy and chill
Heather,
and
you're
open
wrong.
here. Yes, that was all Steph this time.
We
almost
the
gone through a live show.
She said in her TBR that it counted.
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
I'm not
you
that was
suggested
50-50.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll update that for the next one.
Steph did a very nice job creating our website full of lovely recommendations. And
I saw you reading that, and I was like, "What?" But then also, I know there's like two, and there's like one's haunting and one's hunting, and I was like, "Oh, maybe one of them is paranormal." I don't know, so I didn't say anything because like I don't know, but I was like,
No, I did.
It does look like a paranormal.
It does
I will
look like
give you
paranormal.
that. But it is not. Anyways, friends, thank you all so much for joining us. And we love that you all participated. Even if you didn't and you were just here to hang out, we love you anyway. So thanks a lot. And we'll see y'all in the next round or the next time we all hang out.